Hey, Brendan Payne with Century 21, and thanks again for watching this quick video market update for February 2021. What a crazy year it's been so far. As you know, we're in a really strong seller's market here along the coast in South Carolina. And so that means incredible things for sellers. It's a challenging time for buyers. There's no doubt there's some challenges ahead of buyers right now, primarily with finding inventory. In today's video, I want to go through and let you know a little bit about what's actually happening and where the numbers stand right now. So let's get into it. So right now in February, we are in a period of time where I've been in this market selling for about 15 years, and it's probably one of the strongest sellers markets that I've seen in the entire time that I've been in business. So, a big portion of that is always related to supply and demand. Supply and demand drives prices. It drives, the overall sense of what's happening in the market. And that's a great thing on the selling side. Now, when you look at the actual numbers, of course, February isn't finished up at the time that I'm doing this video. I'll get you February numbers when they're out. But through the end of January, look at these numbers. Right now, currently, there's less than 1,200 residential homes that are on the market. Now, when you add in new construction and to be built, if you looked on the MLS, you'd see around 1,900. But when you take out the homes that are either new construction or they're to be built, meaning they're just a listing that shows active, but it's not come out of the ground, it's something to be built, then you're down to less than 1,200 actual homes that are active on the market for sale today. Okay, December 2020, December closings in 2020, 1,146 homes. So what's that tell you? If we sold 1,146 homes in typically one of the slowest months for closing, which is December, and we have 1,200 for sale right now, we've got about 1 month of inventory, which if you follow trends and you follow inventory in the real estate world, 1 month of inventory is a strong seller's market. We don't have enough inventory to match the supply. Now, just to give you some context to that, in January of 2020, this previous month in 2020, so a year ago, there were 1,173 new properties that hit the market. So 1,100 properties hit the market. This past January, so a month ago, 2021, 1,135. So we've actually less inventory year over year in the month of January. Not surprising. I anticipate February is going to be the same. What I'm really looking for is to find out what happens as we get closer to spring, because everybody now kind of has an understanding that there's not a lot of inventory, and inventory has a way in markets of catching up. So I anticipate that we'll see inventory start rising some, but we have got a heck of a lot of demand that I don't think it's going to change the overall feel of the market right away. So what's happening? I get this question all the time. So what's actually happening in the market? What's causing this? Uncertainty, in a word, is causing a lot of what's happening. So the uncertainty of our feeder markets. So when you think of the Grand Strand, the coast of South Carolina, a big portion of the people that are moving in here are moving from other areas, primarily the Northeast, some in the Midwest. Those are our big feeder markets. Those are also areas where there's higher density, there's bigger cities, and frankly, the uncertainty of what's going on in those areas is driving them to move to other areas, and we're one of them. So that's a big portion of it. The uncertainty in other markets is really enhancing the demand. Now, the interesting thing is those areas were already the ones that drove our buyers coming into the market. It's just really enhanced it. The other part is uncertainty within our market. So when you think of the supply, who's moving out? There are no doubt people in our market that had plans probably of moving at some point, but now they may have uncertainty of where they were going. Or they may look and say, you know what, the market's pretty strong here for the property that I own. If I sell here and go somewhere else, does it make sense, or do I wait for a while? So that's happening. So it's interesting, the uncertainty is driving the supply in our market, or the demand to our market, but it's also kind of has a stranglehold on some of the supply that we would normally see. Again, as we go deeper into the year, it's going to be interesting to see how much of that supply loosens up. but I really think that we're going to still have a really strong demand. I don't see anything changing with that. The second thing is those feeder markets that have typically been drawing people here um, are in all areas. So it's not only just the residential homes, it's also the condo and resort market. So if you think about the people that right now travel is still, it's tough in a lot of areas. International travel is almost non-existent, or it's more difficult. It's not like it was. And a lot of the people that are coming into our market for the resort properties, oceanfront and vacation rentals are telling us, you know what? I want to make sure that I've got something nearby, 5-6 hour drive. That's a big portion of the country, big population within 5 or 6 hour drive. They're buying things because they've been thinking about it, and now they're just saying, you know what, I'm going to make the move. So they're making the moves on the secondary purchases as well. So that part of the market's being impacted, just like the people that are moving here full time. Significant demand coming in from both those types of properties. And then the last thing is, you have to realize, even though we're going to see a good amount of appreciation, I will have the 2020 year-end numbers out to you shortly. We're kind of compiling everything, and it takes a while for everything to really close out and make sure we've got good data. When we see that, we're going to see an increase in prices across the board, I would anticipate, in most areas. Even with that increase in the price, though, you have to understand the Grand Strand, all the way from Little River all the way through Pawleys Island and Georgetown, is still by far one of the best values, dollar for dollar, you're going to get along the eastern seaboard. So even when our prices are going up, the reality is those are some of the best values that you can find along the coast, with the lifestyle, with the choice of properties that you've got, and everything else that goes with it. So of course, even without all the events of the last 12 months, we're always a popular destination where people can get a lot for their money, low taxes, and a great way of life. So if you're thinking about making a move, what are a couple of things that you need to do right now? If you own property along the Grand Strand, you absolutely need to, at minimum, get a feel for what's the value. It may surprise you. In some areas, we don't have any homes on the market in a particular neighborhood or particular condo complex. One goes on the market and it sells. So you need to at least get an idea of where the values are. And then if you're thinking about making a move, of course, there's other moving parts you've got to figure out. Where would you go? Does it make sense now? What's the timing? But at least see what the value is today, because it's good to know where you start from, because then you can have an idea of what's your plan and what are you looking for in the future. The second thing is on the buying side. If you are looking at buying, then inventory's tight. We already talked about that. Inventory is very tight, but there are ways that you can get an advantage against the competition. So one of the things that we're doing for our clients right now is trying to find them as many opportunities for off-market properties as they can, because that way then you aren't competing. And so in many cases, there's multiple offers. You're going to highest and best. I'm doing as much as I can to try to find off-market properties and then position offers so that the buyer wins. So if you're competing with 5 or 6 offers, then I'm going to show the buyer some techniques and some strategies to be able to win that, and it's not just price. So if you have any questions, you're thinking about making a move, reach out to me. Look for the 2020 year-end numbers to come out soon. And thank you again for allowing me to be a resource. Please follow my social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube videos for more information like this. And if you need anything more specific, reach out to me. I'd love to put something together for you. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.